Hi there, everyone. Welcome to another one of my album reviews. My name is Christian Eschbach. And before I get into the review, if you are one of my regular viewers, I'd like to apologize for all the aquarium background noise that were in the last couple videos. I didn't think to turn it off, and I'm going to apologize ahead of time for all the fans you may or may not hear while I'm recording throughout the summer season up here in my bedroom area, second floor. The central air does not necessarily push properly up to the second floor, so I have to use a few fans for some extra kick. That being said, as I am getting into my issues and using you as a sounding board, let's talk about therapy! Haha, what a segue, right? Okay. So, therapy is new to me. Band that came out in the 90s. I've heard of them. I own a couple albums where they kind of appear on the album. The Black Sabbath Nativity in Black tribute album. Therapy is on there with Ozzy, but Ozzy's doing the vocals on it. So here we've got Therapy just on their own. This is the first time I've ever knowingly listened to Therapy. This album is called Hats Off to the Insane. Was released in 1993. I know nothing about Therapy. I did a little research before I did this. And I'm glad I did, because this is a 6-track album. It's basically an EP. It might just barely scrape into an LP, but I don't think so. I think it might be, yeah, I think it's an EP. It really is. 6 tracks. Only one track goes over 3 minutes, and it hits just shy of 4 minutes. Everything else is, you got 241, 221, 223, 351, 232, and 228. That's the time. So, not a lot of time in there, not enough to really hit that 30-minute safety marker for an LP. Anyways, I am rambling. The reason why I'm talking about the research is I discovered that this was actually made up of multiple EPs. If I read it correctly, the first 2 tracks came from one EP, then track 3, 4, and 5 came from another, and then track 6 from its own. So let's get into the actual songs. Oh, let me show you the back of the album there too. That's kind of cool. I like that. I like the hand drawings. It adds a little touch to it. Anyways, so we got Scream Major that opens up the album. I like Scream Major. It was a great way to open up this EP. It was a good choice. It's actually on their 94 album as well. Info here. I do have it. Confused the hell out of me. I'm like, why am I always hearing this song? I was listening to 2 separate albums. Anyways, that's what happens when there's a collection put out. I know I said I would never do a collection, but when I decided I was going to review this one, when I decided I was going to review this one, I did it because I didn't know it was a collection of EPs. I thought it was just, like an early release, like Guns N' Roses Live Like a Suicide or something like that, Anyways, Scream Major. Yeah, I got sidetracked again. Great tune. Opens up the album brilliantly. Really gets me into this. I really enjoy it. It's quite possibly my favorite song on the album. It's the most single-ish off the album, for sure. From there, we go into Auto Surgery. Auto Surgery is cool. It really's got a cool groove into it. When you listen to Scream Major has that, I don't want to say, it's not metal, it's not punk, and it's not thrash or anything. Like, there's a combination of them. It's kind of, I want to say kind of grungy, but if you go like Scream Major is heavier than anything that Alice in Chains or Soundgarden did. Auto Surgery, though, definitely has that Alice in Chains kind of vibe to it, for sure. And the rest of the album kind of flows back and forth, where I would say there's definitely a lot of Alice in Chains like sound in here. I do think that the fact that they came out slightly behind Alice in Chains, or after Alice in Chains, if you like, would have definitely hurt them a little bit because of the musical tone. It's got that kind of droning kind of sound, and the way he sings has kind of got that drone on certain songs. Scream Major is more punky in its presentation, the more aggressive, yelly style vocals, the aggressive in your face kind of vocals. Auto Surgery is a little more of that drone. Then we get into Totally Random Man. Totally Random Man, I like this one. This one's got some major high energy going on, really pumping it out, kicking it. But you can still hear that kind of drone sort of in the vocals going on. But this one's a little more back and forth between that drone and that punk kind of vibe. It's really cool. I really love the way it kind of gets going and gets into it. After that, we get into Turn. Turn is the longest song on the album at 3:51. There's parts of Turn that remind me a lot of Auto Surgery in the way the music is performed. Not to say that the songs sound the same. They don't, you know. At first I was thinking they sounded the same or had that kind of AC/DC kind of vibe going on. That wasn't the situation. It's just there's a certain kind of format or certain kind of effects being used on certain songs that are similar to other songs. So it kind of gives it a very similar kind of vibe. And wow, did I use the word similar way too much? But that's kind of what's going on in here. So they're playing different things. There's different instrumentation going on, different drum riffs going on, different bass patterns going on. But just kind of that core element that is therapy is there. So it makes it similar. And that goes on to the next song, Speedball, because Speedball reminds me a lot of Total Random Man for the same reasons. There's a certain kind of element of vibe. I don't want to say a cookie cutter style, because it's not cookie cutter. Once again, it's not the same, but it's similar. It's making a stencil out of Bristol board. If you make a stencil out of Bristol board as opposed to making a stencil out of hard plastic, the more you go around the stencil, the more it augments and changes, but you still have that core, this is what it was in the beginning kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? That's the best analogy I can give here as to how those songs kind of are similar to each other. I do enjoy them, but I do get to a point where when I get to Speedball, I'm like, have I listened to all this already? And then we get to Opal Mantra, and Opal Mantra is totally different. Opal Mantra is different than everything else on this album. So you get Scream Major, which is something different, and then you get Opal Mantra, which is something different. So it starts off with something different, ends with something different. Opal Mantra is also a nice way to end it all. I really like the way they end it. I really dig it here. Opal Mantra, I don't want to say is Alice in Chainsy, but it's Alice in Chainsy. The Opal Mantra reminds me of when Alice in Chains covered Rush's Tears on their 40th anniversary 2112 special edition. That is coming. That is coming. I promise you, it is coming. And it'll be coming soon. Special. It's getting a big special number. Anyways, that's for the regular viewers. Getting back to where I'm going here. So when I'm talking about Alice in Chains a lot on here, I'm not a grunge fan. If you've watched other videos, you've heard that. I only own one Alice in Chains album. And believe it or not, it was actually after Lane. It was the first album after Lane's passing. And there's a reason I don't own a lot of Alice in Chains. And I'll explain when I get to that album. So This is an interesting introduction to therapy. I really dig this single, and I do listen to it regularly. I enjoy having it on my MP3 list right now while I've been listening to it to review the album, and I've very much enjoyed it. It's fantastic. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on therapy. If you run across this one, hats off to the insane. I would pay between $5 and $10 finding this one. I didn't have to pay for it. This came with Tracy. Tracy has one of the most eclectic collections of music. Heavy on the power metal. Very, very heavy on the power metal. But so much other stuff in there too. It's crazy. So, and expect more from Tracy's collection as I go here. So, yeah. If you can find this, $5. If you're in the U.S., $5. If you're in Canada, I'd go up to 10. You have to look at conversion rates and see what we're at right now. But U.S. maybe up to 10 as well. I know that you guys are making a few more bucks these days. You're for your minimum wage. You're catching up to our minimum wage. So, anyways, rambling. Good album, worth picking up. Until next time, you know the routine. Leave me your comments. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications when a new episode comes out. Otherwise, peace, love, and take care.